Happy 2021, everybody. Welcome back to a new year and to a new podcast episode. Hopefully, we guys can do a lot more this year. I want to expand the Sports Buzz into a business. So if you have not, please hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to hit that subscribe button. Help me reach the 1,000 subscriber mark and the 4,000 watch hours so I can apply for YouTube. Because it's something that I want to do and I want to expand it later on to articles, etc., and things like that. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's jump into it today. So, if you don't know, the NBA has really talked about expanding before. I'm sure you guys have known. So, Adam Silver actually acknowledged that possibility of an NBA expansion on December 21st, I believe. So, this is an article from ESPN. I will link it down below because there's other things in here besides the expansion. If you guys are interested in reading it, I always like to give you an article anyway. So, guys, let you know that I am doing research on things and that I am linking things below for you guys. This is for you. So, now, it says, a change from his past statements on the topic of expansion, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Monday afternoon that the league has looked at its analysis of the ramifications of expanding beyond 30 teams. I think this is a good and bad thing. I think that this is from Adam Silver himself. He said, I think I've always said that it's a sort of a manifest destiny of a league that you expand at some point. Silver said during his annual preseason availability with reporters, I say it's caused us to maybe dust off some of the analysis on the economic and competitive impacts of expansion. We've been putting a little bit more time into it than we were pre-pandemic, but certainly not to the point that this extension is on the front burner. So technically it's on the back burner for right now. Silver said that although there has been a change in the league's position, wherever he has been asked about the potential expansion over the past few years, he has said it isn't something the league is considering. However, they should, in my opinion. But right now, is it a good time? I'll get into that in a moment. So, Silver also said that there has not been a change in the league's position whenever he has been... Okay, sorry, I've already said that. My bad. Okay, so the NBA opening up lines of credit during the pandemic to give its teams economic relief, it is notable that Silver actually acknowledged the possibility of expanding beyond the current 30 teams. Particularly, each expansion team would come with a hefty entry fee, which right now, and I'll get to in just a second, they shouldn't do it like this. My opinion, of course, strictly my opinion. And that's one thing, too. I love giving my opinion on the show, and I will continue doing that. So now, there's an entry fee. So guess what the entry fee is? It's high up there. It's $1 billion. Okay, now pre-pandemic, I could kind of understand it being $1 billion, but really? Cities have lost a lot of money. On top of, Seattle shouldn't have to pay to get back in the league because they were pretty much ripped off. They should be allowed to have a less amount since they were already in the league before. Honestly, $1 billion, nobody should have to pay that right now. I think that's ridiculous, and it's going to take years for a lot of these cities to get back to normal. They would have to have tons of stuff depending on when all this is going to fade out, So, my thing is, you can't have events anywhere. Really, you can't do this, you can't do that. So, they can't have events. They can't have fans at games. They can't have concerts. Can't do this. You can't have sports tourism, you can't have tourism in general. So all these cities, a lot of these places have lost so much money because of that. Because they can't have their usual stuff that they have every year. Even games. Even kids' games are not the same. Because even here, we have a little bit of sports tourism in a small town just because of kids' baseball. I remember a few years ago, because I went to see a couple of kids that I know play. And it was $5 to get in. But there's so many teams playing on top of... tons of people were there, of course, parent. You have kids. There's so many teams that came around. Also, we had a little bit for high school here. When we did tournaments and stuff. So, because I actually Did I get to work one? I think I got to work one when I was interning at the high school here. So I feel like, yeah, there's always such a big need for tourism because it brings in the money. Sports tourism in general, you know? So what's going to happen to not only the NBA teams who's lost a lot of money, the NBA in general? Why is Adam Silver putting $1 billion on the list? I don't know. So, but then he also said which would be then passed on to the current teams. Why? That's not fair. It should go into their team, who, whether it's Las Vegas or whether it's Seattle, why not, you know what I'm saying? And he's also said, we're very appreciative of the markets that have indicated in any interest in having an NBA team. He said, one of the issues for the league office, and this comes up all the time in terms of competitiveness, it's not a secret that we don't have 30 competitive teams at any time right now when you go into the season measured by likelihood of the ability to win a championship. One of our focuses as a league office is always how do you create a better competition. So one of the things that have came up continuously, he said, is expansion. I don't know how that would be competitive, but anyway, it's an economic issue and it's a competitive issue for us. So it's one of the things that we'll continue to study, but we're spending a little bit more time than we were pre-pandemic. So I think that's a good thing in general. Maybe 35 years from now, you can actually expand more. And maybe fans can actually go to games, no mask, no nothing, and it can be crowded like they used to be, and bring in that money back. And don't make the vaccine actually mandated for people. So, to even get into games. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. I'm not getting into it. So, the NBA hasn't added teams since they expanded to 30 by agreeing to add the Charlotte, well, it was then Bobcats, but now Hornets in 2002, but they didn't begin to play until 2004. Should the league choose to expand, Seattle would be likely the first in line, which they should be. Hello, they should be. They should have already had a team back. This is ridiculous. They should never had to give it up. Anyway, I will discuss that in a different podcast at a different time. Now, the Sacramento Kings almost went to Seattle in 2013 before somebody brought the team and kept it in Sacramento. Seattle hasn't had a team since Supersonics moved to Oklahoma City in 2008. They should never move to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City should have been able to create their own team and expand there without having to move Seattle there. That was ridiculous. It should never happen. No, I'm not a Seattle fan. I'm a Lakers fan. But it's still ridiculous. It's ridiculous, if you ask me. Now, he also went over topics I'm not going to discuss. But yeah, so cities that I believe should be up for expansion. Number one, Seattle. They should be able to bring the Supersonics back. Maybe change the colors a little bit, but yeah. Las Vegas. Don't know why they've never had one before. They got the Raiders on top of they have the Golden Knights. Raiders for football, hockey for Golden Knights. Now, Louisville has also been kind of in the midst, but I don't think they get one. Possibility, who knows? But honestly, New York, it would probably be good for New York to have another team because they do have Islanders, Rangers for hockey. They have 2 soccer teams for Major League Soccer there for the men. What else do they have 2 of? I can't remember now. So why not bring into 2 baseball teams, Major League Baseball teams, dummy. Yeah, so why not have another NBA team? Because let's just say, the Knicks are awful. They're god-awful. No telling when they're going to get back to being decent. Probably be a while, honestly. Now, Brooklyn is in New York, so you can kind of count that. But New York, as a state itself, that would be good to have another team because why not? Right? It would be interesting, to say the least, to have Knicks have competition. Maybe they would do better. Who knows? Am I right? Or am I wrong? What do you guys think about that? Please comment down below on which city would you like to see. Also, I have another topic I'm going to discuss about basketball before too long. About creating another league. So, this is going to be later down the road in the future for me to talk about because I'm going to look a little bit more into it. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully, your New Year is going off pretty well. If you have not set any goals, please do so. And reach those goals because it's important to have goals in life. Thank you guys so much. See ya.